Hi everybody, I'm going to show you a couple effects you can do using just the colors menu of the GIMP uh, open source program out there. Um, that's what I use for pretty much a lot of the digital graphics that I'm doing out here. So I'm going to show you two, just two different looks you can get using the same sequence of steps. So here you can create a fire effect by just using your smudging tool to start trying to use your own creativity and amount of effort you want to apply to make it look like a fire effect that you can do. Um, or in this case, I did it to the base image and then added a helmet layer and then merged the two together and then made the fire effect start coming out over the openings of the helmet. And here's one I just did just because I thought it looked really cool, but I didn't make the fire effect at all in it because I just thought it looked like a pretty cool image just the way it was just by following the following steps. I got this image based off a Google search. I was just looking for a female warrior with long hair that's kind of going everywhere, so you can really appreciate the look that the following steps will show. So I just came here to save image as so I can show you. This lady right here, if you don't really know how to do this, I'm a fan of the Lumineer, so I was just watching this video and I thought I really kind of like the way this image looks. So I came here and in your search field, and if you're using Windows, in your search field in the bottom left corner, just type snipping, Snipping, and you pop up snipping tool. If you're not familiar with that, Windows has it, so you can just do that. Hit new, and you can drag over whatever you want to take a screenshot of, and there you go, and you can save it. That's what I did with this one. So little tip there if you weren't aware about that. And that's her right there. So let's get into this real quick. So let's start off with the layer effect here. So using my base image, I made a duplicate of it. So here's Here's my main one. I went to duplicate, made a duplicate, and there it is. And I'm going to use this one. So let's start the color effects. I'm going to come to colors, hit desaturate, hit luminosity, come back to colors, hit invert, come back to colors, hit color balance, and you're going to do this for each one of these. So start off with your shadows, drag your cyan to the right, yellows to the left. And if you're going to do this regularly, I suggest making a preset out of it. So once you do that, come over here, hit the plus, give this set a name. I called mine Shadows Fire. Uh, then go to midtones, drag it to the right, drag yellow to the left. Once again, come over here, and I called mine Midtones Fire. And then do the same thing for highlights, and then hit the plus sign and call it Highlights Fire, whatever you want to call it. And then you can hit OK. Uh, So next time you do it, don't repeat this stuff because you just did it. When you go to color balance, you can just come here to your presets, and there's my shadows fire, midtones fire, and highlights fire, and then it's already there. But to get back to this sequence, so you've already desaturated. You went to colors invert, went to colors balance, and changed those three uh, settings for the shadows, midtones, and highlights. Come back to colors, go to levels, and you want to drag your far left triangle over, and this is just based off your own gut and your own eye on what you're after. Um, let's do that. I'm good with that. I'm gonna hit OK. So at this point, if you're just doing like these other images right here, you would just grab your smudging tool, which is this one, and you would start kind of, well, don't set it that hard, that big, but set your hardness to the number 2 hardness, and then you can kind of start kind of stroking out to start making that fire effect. Now, for my case, I didn't want to do that. I want to put a helmet over it. So I'm gonna turn that off. Here's my helmet. I'm gonna make a duplicate of it and turn it off. I'm gonna bring my helmet down one just so it's uh, right over uh, my fire my fire skull that I just made just now. Uh, so at this point, I want the fire to come out over and around the openings here. So I'm gonna right click on the helmet that's right above the fire skull, and I'm gonna hit merge down. That has now combined those two images together. So at this point, I can go ahead and come over here and hit my smudge tool, get the right setting that I want, and you can kind of start making your fire effect out of it. That's a little too big, but I'm just kind of showing you as an example. I don't want to waste y'all's time watching me trying to make a how to make fire, but in essence, just start kind of in the halfway down and just kind of start making your fire effect happen up over the edges of the helmet. Just I'm sure you all know what fire looks like, so just just keep working at it until you get the effect that you're after. And I'm not gonna. This is addictive, so I'm trying to stop, but I can't stop. Why can't I stop making a fire effect? Okay, I'm gonna stop. So ultimately, so that's how you go about to make this one. Uh, so let's quickly look at the samurai female warrior and make that. So I don't have that one up. So let's go ahead and do it real quick. I'm gonna go to new. Um, I like using a transparency background, so I'm gonna hit OK. I'm gonna go ahead and bring in my female warrior. And there's a couple things that needs to happen with this image for me to do anything with it. I need to get rid of that white background. So I always double check. I right click. I don't need to because there's already a transparent background back there, but I always check it anyways. Hit your fuzzy select tool. And you're going to have to play with this until you get it set to the right level. So if I was over here and I click on this, notice I'm removing things I probably don't want to remove, especially inside of her outfit. Um, so I'm going to keep shifting it back until I get, see, it's still taking too much out of her outfit there. So I'm going to keep moving it back and then click on it, and you can kind of gauge what's about to be cut out if I were to hit the delete button. So I think that's, I'm going to come out just a little bit here. So I'm going to click on delete and see what's there. So there, so I'm going to click on over here, get rid of that. I'm going to click in this white area, get rid of that. Click inside here, get rid of that. Same thing right there. Just hitting my delete button right there. And then I'm going to hit select none, come to my eraser tool, and I'm going to just clean this image up just a smidge here. I'm going to get rid of that. Ultimately, I'm not too worried about all this stuff in here, but let's go ahead and get rid of it. And let me change to a harder the hardness of 100, just so it really cleans it up. And if you notice, I missed a white spot, so I'm going to come back to my fuzzy selection tool, click on it, and hit my delete button just to get rid of that. Uh, let's go ahead and get rid of this while I'm at it. I'm not sure if that's part of her outfit or that just was originally part of the background, but let's let's get rid of that. Let's mess with this, see if I can get rid of this without taking out the rest of it. And there you go. So let's be done with that and hit none. And let's go ahead and I'm going to make this black, the background black, just because I like to work over a black background when I'm messing with this color effect. Make sure you're selected back over here. I'm going to come back to my eraser tool now that I can see some of these other specs. It doesn't have to be perfect by no means because it's not really going to be there at the end of the day. So I'm just going to get rid of that. All right, let's just go ahead and get on with this thing. So make sure your layer is selected. Go to colors, go to desaturate, luminosity, okay. Colors, we're going to go to invert, go back to colors, color balance, and let's use these presets. So I'm going to go to shadows. I'm then going to select on midtones. I'm then going to select on highlights, and then I hit OK. Then I'm going to come back to colors. I hit level. I'm just going to drag that over. Don't want it that much, so let's bring it back over here. Let's grab the center one, the midtones, and see. All right, I think that's fine. So we're gonna hit OK. And ultimately, so at this point, I kind of like the way it looks. So I don't think there's much else that I want to do with this. I'm gonna resume it, and I'm gonna select on my main background. Well, actually, I do want to fix something on here. So I'm gonna click back on her. I don't like how it's such a straight line on the bottom. I want it to have some shape to it. So I'm gonna hit my eraser. I'm gonna go to a soft hardness. I'm just going to kind of start bringing it in because I don't want to always have that in there. And this is just based off what you want. So I think that's fine for my purpose here. And I'm going to go ahead and at this point select on the the background uh, black image. I'm going to come to my uh, ellipse tool here. I'm going to drag it, kind of make an oval, uh, just to give it a shape if I were to do something else with this later on. I think it kind of makes a cool little sticker or decal or something. So now that I've selected this, that means I've selected everything inside here, which I don't want to do. So I'm going to come to select. I'm going to hit invert because I want to select everything outside of there. I'm going to hit delete on my keyboard. Now I'm going to come back to select, none. I'm going to come to my cropping tool. I'm going to get rid of some of this extra background that I have. And once again, hit hit the enter button. And there you go. You can come over here and do an export as and save it however you want to save it. But this is what you get when you're done with it. So it's fun things to do. Depending on whatever application you're after. But uh, you don't have to be a pro to do these steps. I mean, there's definitely some professionals out there that do wonderful, amazing things using GIMP. But if you're starting your own business or want to be creative and you have to, you want to be able to do some basic graphical stuff and make cool effects to add to to whatever products that you're making. These are just some simple steps you can follow. It's just repetitive and just applying it and then just messing around with it to see what image you get. So I hope this helps. All right, bye.